Welcome, dear seekers of the unknown, to the realm of shadows and secrets. I am the Arcane Observer, your guide through the veils of mystery and magic. I delve into the depths of occult knowledge and esoteric mysteries that have long been shrouded in darkness. Come with me on a journey beyond the mundane, where whispers of the supernatural echo through the corridors of time. But beware, for in this realm of the arcane, not all that glimmers is gold, and not all that whispers speaks the truth. As a lone seeker in this vast expanse of Enigma, I rely on your support to continue unraveling the enigmatic tapestry of the occult. Your contributions will enable me to delve deeper into ancient texts, explore hidden realms, and bring forth knowledge that has long been obscured from mortal eyes. Eliphas Levi, a 19th century occultist and ceremonial magician, created the iconic image of Baphomet in his book Dogma and Ritual of High Magic, published in 1856. The image of Baphomet by Levi features a humanoid figure with both male and female attributes, symbolizing the union of opposites or dualities. Throughout history, the image of Baphomet has been associated with various conspiracy theories, occult practices, and accusations of devil worship. It was during the time of the French Revolution and Napoleon that Alphonse Constant changed his name to Eliphas Levi in 1841, a loose Hebrew translation of his birth name. Despite being known as a prominent figure in occultism and esotericism, Eliphas Levi was indeed raised a Catholic. Levi's views were deeply intertwined with his interest in occultism, which he associated with what he considered to be true Catholicism. Levi's interest in occultism and his belief in the esoteric aspects of Catholicism may have led him to explore connections between his own beliefs and the supposed mystical traditions of the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were famously accused of worshipping Baphomet during the medieval period, leading to its demonization in the Christian context. The beliefs of the Knights Templar were influenced by various sources, including the ancient school of Alexandria and Gnosticism. The Templars were known to have been exposed to esoteric teachings and mystical practices that were not widely accepted by the mainstream church. Baphomet, as illustrated by Levi, symbolized the profound knowledge carried by the Templars, Gnostics, and ancient sages. This knowledge was believed to encompass the concept of the astral light and magnetic power, which were thought to be the forces holding the universe and cosmos together. Moreover, the idea of magnetic power in relation to Baphomet suggested a force that attracted and unified elements in the cosmos. This magnetic power was not merely physical, but was believed to have metaphysical implications. Maybe Eliphas Levi believed that the secrets of Baphomet could bring about the true church he believed he'd found in occultism. That the power in Baphomet could bring about the perfect social order and peace he believed in. The belief that the Knights Templar worshipped Baphomet is a long-standing myth that has captured the imagination of many over the centuries. However, historical evidence suggests that this claim is not entirely accurate. The image of Baphomet, often depicted as a goat-headed figure, was not actually associated with the Knights Templar during their existence in the 12th and 13th centuries, until Eliphas Levi created the accepted image we see today. Levi's depiction of Baphomet was heavily influenced by existing images of the devil. At the time, the devil was commonly depicted as a goat-like figure with horns, hooves, and a tail. Levi drew on these existing images of the devil to create his own interpretation of Baphomet. However, he also sought to rehabilitate the image of the devil, seeing it as a symbol of divine power and creativity rather than purely evil force. Another source of inspiration for Levi's depiction of Baphomet was goat-headed figures from ancient mythology and religion. For example, the Greek god Pan was often depicted as half-man, half-goat figure, while the Egyptian god Amun was sometimes depicted with goat head. So the Templars did not have a Baphomet goat-headed image per se. They were in possession of a skull, however, and it has been said that they called the skull Baphomet, and some said it was a bearded skull. In my previous videos, I have delved into the intriguing world of skull cults and the significant role skulls play in occult practices. The fascination with skulls dates back centuries and spans various cultures and belief systems. So, whose skull did the Knights Templar have in their possession? If we could find that out, it would help to understand why it was called Baphomet, or rather, why Eliphas Levi would call his illustration of the mysterious substance that held or manipulated reality Baphomet. Perhaps it was the skull of John the Baptist. Now, the story of John the Baptist. The daughter of Herodias, Salome, danced for King Herod in his court, and he liked her dance so much, he said to her, "I will give you anything you want, up to half of my court." And she asked her mother, "What should I ask for?" And her mother said, "The head of John the Baptist." So Salome asked for John the Baptist's head on a platter. And even though Herod didn't want to do this, he had John the Baptist in his prison, so he sent a man to cut off his head, and he gave it to Salome on a platter. Salome. Some say there was some contention about the Messiah. Was it Jesus? Was it John the Baptist? Was it Simon Magus? They say Herodias wanted his head because he'd criticized her marriage, that John the Baptist had criticized her marriage to Herod, but perhaps it was more involved than that. So right after the Knights Templar set up their order in the Holy Land back in 1118 AD, they kind of merged into this really old Gnostic tradition called the Onite Church. And this church had been around for over 1,000 years and was originally founded by St. John the Baptist. The leader of this ancient tradition at the time the Templar order was just starting out was Theoclete. So Theoclete actually met the first Templar, Grandmaster Hugues de Payens, and then he basically passed on his Johannite authority to him, or Johannite, I think it's Johannite. This meant that Hugues de Payens became known as John number 70 in this whole line of Gnostic Johannites that all started with John the Baptist, and this included, supposedly, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and John the Apostle. And so, as you know, John wasn't just a regular name. It was like this fancy title that meant he of Gnostic power and wisdom. It's all connected to the Sanskrit word jnana, which means gnosis. And Madame Blavatsky mentions the Knights Templar acquisition of the Onite Church, and she said this.
The true version of the history of Jesus and early Christianity was supposedly imparted to Hugues de Payens by the Grand Pontiff of the Order of the Temple, the Johannite sect, one named Theoclete, after which it was learned by some knights in Palestine, from the higher and more intellectual members of the St. John sect, who were initiated into its mysteries. Freedom of intellectual thought and the restoration of one universal, Gnostic, religion was their secret object. Sworn to the vow of obedience, poverty, and chastity, they were at first the true knights of John the Baptist, crying in the wilderness and living on wild honey and locusts. Such is the tradition and the true Kabbalistic version.
And Pope Pius IX said pretty much the same thing when he levied heresy against the Freemasons.
The Johannites ascribed to St. John the foundation of their secret church, and the Grand Pontiffs of the sect assumed the title of Christos, anointed or consecrated, and claimed to have succeeded one another from St. John by an uninterrupted succession of pontifical powers. He who, at the period of the foundation of the Order of the Temple, claimed these imaginary prerogatives was named Theoclete. He knew Hugues de Payens, he initiated him into the mysteries and hopes of his pretended church, he seduced him by the notions of sovereign priesthood and supreme royalty, and finally designated him as his successor.
The Pope also said this.
The Templars, like all other secret orders and associations, had two doctrines, one concealed and reserved for the masters, which was Johannism, the other public, which was the Roman Catholic. Thus they deceived the adversaries whom they sought to supplant.
And Eliphas Levi said this.
The tendencies and tenets of the Templar order were enveloped in profound mystery, and it externally professed the most perfect orthodoxy. The chiefs alone knew the aim of the order, the subalterns followed them without distrust.
Let's start with the Onite lineage that Hugh de Payens and his Knights Templar received. This lineage was not just a simple inheritance, it was a collection of documents and scrolls that unveiled many secrets and hidden truths. The information contained in these documents was considered heretical by some, which led to their destruction, loss, or hiding. One of the major revelations from the Onite lineage was the claim that John the Baptist was born within the Essene sect of the Nazarenes, or the Nazarenes. The Essenes were a Jewish sect known for their ascetic lifestyle, while the Nazarenes, or the Nazarenes, were a group that emerged from the union of the Essenes and an ancient Gnostic sect from the east, the baptizing Mandeans. The arrival of the baptizing Mandeans from the east and their subsequent union with the Essenes is a significant event in understanding the history of Western religion. The Mandeans brought with them Gnostic beliefs that likely influenced the developments of John the Baptist's teachings and, by extension, early Christianity. So basically they found out that John was not just a great prophet of the Mandean and the Essenes, but also the main teacher of Jesus. What's even more interesting is that John was considered a co-Messiah alongside Jesus by his followers. This revelation came to light recently when the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered and translated. These scrolls were writings by the Essenes who lived near the Dead Sea at Qumran. So basically the Essenes believed in two messiahs. One was the King Messiah, who was supposed to come from the tribe of David, and the other was the priest Messiah, who was expected to be born into the tribe of Levi. They thought that John the Baptist fulfilled the role of the priest Messiah, while Jesus embodied the King Messiah. Since they revered John as the anticipated priest Messiah, they held him in higher esteem than Jesus because they believed he had a closer connection to Yahweh. So basically, the inner circle of the Knights Templar, who followed the Johannite tradition, believed that John the Baptist was more important than Jesus. They created a ritual where new members had to spit on the cross, reject Jesus, and accept John as their savior. This controversial initiation ceremony often involved the head of John the Baptist, which the Templars claimed to have found during the Fourth Crusade in Constantinople. They believed this relic still had a powerful energy from when it was a part of John's body. So basically, the idea is that the energy and power believed to be present in John the Baptist's head is thought to be a spiritual force known as the Holy Spirit in the West and Kundalini in the East. This energy is said to enter the body of a new member of a group called the Onite Templars, kickstarting a transformative process that leads to an enlightened state of consciousness. This heightened awareness, referred to as Gnostic consciousness, is said to mirror the deep understanding once possessed by John the Baptist. And it is that heretical awareness that God exists within us as us was their heresy. So basically, this suggests that the power Eliphas Levi was studying is believed to be the same power that the Templars associated with the skull that they possibly referred to as Baphomet, which was the head of John the Baptist. But we still need to come back to this topic and talk more about Simon Magus. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and you can show your support to this small channel through my Cashapp. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.